What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story's called The Saddest I Don't Work Here Lady. Dad Breaks Down in the Bullseye Store. Guys, this is not your typical encounter. And boy oh boy does it come with a story. Okay, some obligatory context. I work school system as a counseling intern, and am basically in the stretch where I'm allowed to help with the kids unless I need to direct them to someone much more qualified. Basically, I interact with moody teenagers almost on a daily, but I have developed a method for helping them out when they throw fits. Usually, I simply ask if they are having a bad day. Some kids respond positively to this and admit, yeah, they're having a bad day, and I am in a position where I can let them rant and validate their frustrations. It has led to many a good interaction and continued behaviors from kids that I deal with. On this day after work, I headed to the Bullseye Store, grabbing cereal, stuff for lunch next week, one-person meals, you know, the weekly essentials. I am still in my work clothes, black work pants, a red blouse, and black flats with my lanyard around my neck. I forget to take it off when I leave because I'm in a hurry just to flee the school before the students do. I have my headphones on and they are black and with a wire, so I get where the confusion came from with my getup. I totally do. The Bullseye Store managers honestly dress very similarly, from what I remember. Back to the story. I am just humming along under my breath along to my music, trying to remember if I needed this brand of cereal bars or the store brand, when I feel it. The tap on the shoulder. I turn and I see a middle-aged man with bags under his eyes, but he looks cross, like he's about to attack me. I pull down my headphones and that's when he just snaps.
Finally! I've been trying to get your attention. Now can you help me find the organics? If you walk me to it, I won't tell your corporate offices about how lazily you're running the store. God, you're supposed to be helping customers.
I blink and then I say it. Mouth just went on autopilot. I blurt out, "I'm sorry, but I don't work here. Sir, are you having a bad day? You honestly look like you need a hug or a break of some kind." His eyes just go wide. And from my own readings on the subreddit, I think for just a moment that I screwed up. I think that he is going to explode. I see red and blue lights in my future, screaming and incoherent babbling and accusations. But no, this man suddenly gets tears in his eyes and he just wipes at them. Yes, it's been a rough couple of days. Huh? Go with it. I am so sorry to hear that. Is everything okay? No, honestly, I just lost my son and my baby. He suddenly melted down and just started bawling, and he clung to me out of nowhere. My mind is racing, trying to understand what is happening here. I awkwardly hug him back, comforting him. I am only 22, no kids of my own, but I cannot imagine what it must feel like for a father to bury his own child. After about 10 of the most awkward minutes of my life, he pulls back, wiping his eyes. He apologizes to me profusely, saying that he was still processing everything with his son, and I offer to buy him some hot chocolate from the coffee stand in the store. The man agrees, and we go up. I buy our drinks and sit him down, and he tells me the whole story. His son, barely 6 years old, had come down with leukemia. He had been diagnosed 7 months prior, and the doctors weren't sure if the treatment would work with him. He and his wife struggled because they also had a 2-year-old daughter to worry about and care for, along with their son's medical treatments, and their health insurance only covered so much. They buried him only 2 days prior to this, and he hadn't allowed himself to mourn whatsoever so that his wife could have him as a pillar of support if she needed him. He said verbatim, "I want her to know I'm here for her because she needs that more than I do." I sympathized with him deeply, explaining that I had lost my grandfather the same way when I was young, and that the grief had been so sudden and so confusing, it had taken my brother into therapy at a young age. The man explained that his wife had made a list and haphazardly told them to go and get the food. He had never done that before. He usually watched the kids because he worked long hours while she went out and had some time for herself. Hence, he hadn't been to the store in a while and didn't know where anything was. After we talked some more, with me explaining that I didn't work there and him apologizing again, and he calmed down. I offered to take him around the store and show him where the items on his list were. By the time we left and he had calmed significantly, he thanked me once again and left. It was really heavy to take, but here is a small reminder that there is a tiny bit of hope when it comes to trying to appeal to the humanity in some of these people. Obviously, there will always be a Tyrannosaurus, but try kindness first. So you learn to appreciate the stories that are written very well, and this one was, and the story itself was really good. You know, writing aside. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this anymore. I'm just rambling at this point, so moving on. This story's called Subway Employee Thought I Was a Secret Shopper. Continued to dig herself into a hole. First time posting here, just remembered a funny story that I think would go nicely here. Here's the cast. Subway girl. I walk into a Subway near my place that I would visit often. As I walk in, the restaurant is empty. I got there closer to closing time, so I expected them to be busy cleaning up anyway. And there's a gas station connected, so they could be over there. No big deal. I wasn't in a rush. Finally, the girl walks in from a side door after I stood there for almost 2 minutes. Still not bothered. I was in a good mood, so it would take a lot to annoy me. Oh, Snooky word, I didn't see you come in. I was having a smoke. No problem, I'm in no rush. She starts making my sandwich. Oh, I hope you're not a secret shopper or anything. I'd probably lose my job. Oh, definitely not. You're safe. Right, but you wouldn't tell me if you were anyway. Well, true, but seriously, I'm just here for a sandwich. She keeps making my sandwich, going on about how she's convinced I'm her secret shopper, and talking about how she didn't care if I was, she'd probably get fired anyway. I don't remember how most of the story goes from there, but she wouldn't back off about it. And then, at the end, I accidentally gave her an extra $1 while paying for my sandwich. Is this supposed to be a tip? Me, visibly annoyed? No. I just accidentally gave you an extra $1. Oh. I finally leave, after a longer conversation not worth getting into. But she made it clear she wasn't a great worker wherever she went. So I had a very long conversation with someone about how bad they were at their job when all I wanted was a sandwich. Unfortunately, no big punchline here, I guess like some of the gems I've seen on here, but still a story that makes me laugh when I think about it. Don't worry buddy, I gotcha. I guess you could say your Subway experience was subpar. This story's called Update on Dumb Karen and No More Wearing My Headset While Running Errands. TLDR. This is my second time being harassed for wearing my headset while shopping. I'm long-winded and overly detailed, so if you don't care, stop here. So anyway, I came home for a day, less than 12 hours really, so my dad, so named Papa Wolf by commenters, could go for his annual checkup and dental check or teeth cleaning. While he did that, I decided to visit my little brother, who I'll call Dylan for this post. Dad met Dylan's mother when he was 11 months old. So, although he is not biologically ours, he is still family. He is almost 14 now and asked for my help regarding a book project that was due before they went on winter break. Dylan was given a list of books he could choose from and wanted my help on choosing the best book option and project type that he could choose from in the directions. FYI, this kid has had the project for 3 weeks, and his mom has done nothing when he's asked for her help with it. She infuriates me. So I took Dylan and his friend Sean, who had the same book projects, to buy the books they were going to read. This is how much I love this kid, because anyone else I would have straight up told no. Enter scene. My favorite used bookstore in the whole wide world, McKay's. It is this beautiful, warehouse-sized, 2-story wonder of books, DVDs, VHS, CDs, vinyls, electronics, and little odds and ends. It is a bibliophile's dream. So after we found the boys their books, I left them in the manga section with a few shonen names that I had liked back when you could still read online before copyright started cracking down. Meanwhile, I went off to the romance section to check out their Nora Roberts selection, by far my favorite romance author. And at McKay's, they have a lot of her older books for $1 a piece. However, there are so many that the little paperbacks are stacked sideways in 2 rows deep in 5 of their cubby shelves, so you have to dig and rearrange the stacks to find what you're looking for. So that's what I was doing while also on my headset talking to my two best friends on three-way. After college, we all sort of scattered, with Kelsey, another set of nom de plume, moving back home to Mississippi to teach, and Mariah being stationed in Colorado because she joined the Army after college. We're all still very close though, and talk pretty much regularly, and that day we were having a heated debate about baby names, because Mariah is due in January with a little girl. She has already decided on a first name, but her and her husband have been waffling back and forth on the middle name and it's driving her crazy, so she was soundboarding us for opinions. Needless to say, I was very distracted when this woman and her kid walked up to me. However, it's not like I didn't notice them because her son, who is probably 4 or 5 judging by his size, was whining and crying about something.
Oh, finally! Where are the middle school level books?
The woman said to me without so much as trying to get my attention, but you know me, always helpful and mostly wanting her and her child to go away. They're on the front row of shelves, down the first aisle. It is literally impossible to miss the kids section of this place, and there are huge signs at the end of every shelf with a genre of books and a map of the store underneath those signs that tells you where everything is. So I expect the woman to just go, but instead she says,
"Well, can't you show me? I need help finding a certain book anyway."
The books are arranged by author's last name and go from top to bottom, left to right.
That doesn't help me. I don't know the author's name. My daughter only told me the title.
I'm sorry, but I'm busy right now. By now, Kelsey and Mariah are chit-chatting about how this woman can't take a hint. They would later nickname her Susan after Kelsey's roommate in freshman year because the girl was oblivious and annoying. So named Susan just stood there waiting while I finished sorting through titles and shuffling books around. She had started snapping at her son to be quiet, which is why I thought she was done with me. But I was wrong. She waited a good 5 minutes until I was done and had picked up my selections. I only found 3 new titles, and the boys' books that they had left with me when she spoke again.
Good, you're done. Now come help me find this book so I can go. I'm in a hurry and you're making me late.
Maybe you should ask some staff? They're usually around. Susan cut me off by clapping her hands together, and she started clapping with every word as if to illustrate her point.
I asked you and I waited for you to be done stocking books. You can take 5 minutes from gossiping with coworkers over your headset to help me find what I'm looking for.
And the clapping thing, oh my lord, I can't get over the clapping thing. I didn't think people actually did that. I knew there are some that do the whole snapping thing to get the wait staff's attention, and I only knew that because a guy did that on our first date, and immediately I knew right then and there it was also our last date. But I always thought the clapping to emphasize your words was just a reality television bit. I didn't think anyone actually did that or would do that to me. Kelsey and Mariah, of course, heard her do this and were telling me not to dare help her. And Mariah was going on a rant saying she wished a witch would try something like that with her. How she'd knock the woman flat 7 months pregnant or not. Considering it took me, Kelsey, and another friend to hold her down and keep her from fighting actual Susan back in freshman year, I believe her. Still, between the clapping thing and my friends going off in my ear, I guess I got a little overwhelmed. Plus, it also just dawned on me that I was having another I don't work here lady moment, and it's because I'm wearing my headset again. Have people really never seen Bluetooth? So my reaction was to laugh. I laughed at the woman, and when she opened her mouth, probably to yell at me, I held a finger up for her to wait and just started saying, "Nope," repeatedly while backing away, and then turned and walked quickly away. I collected my brother and his friend, paid for our purchases, and got the hell out of there. My friends thought it was hysterical that I literally noped my way out of the situation, but I'm kinda concerned with my reaction. I didn't think my encounters with Karen had affected me that badly, but my reaction to that woman was so out of character that I just don't know anymore. Papa Wolf has offered to buy me a different headset for my birthday in 2 weeks that doesn't look like my current one. So maybe this will stop happening, and I'm heavily considering it. But anyway, this happened last Friday, and Kelsey, who was the person that suggested I post my first story to Reddit by the way, got onto me today and told me I needed to give y'all an update on the dumb Karen situation, and that I should talk about this one too. I was less descriptive this time to cut down on length, and plus the woman looked super plain and normal in a sweater and jeans. Plus, McKay's has no uniform, so what I was wearing didn't really factor either. The only reason I think this woman thought I worked there was because of my headset, and because I must have looked like I was stocking or organizing the shelf when she came across me. I'm not really sure, but either way, I still don't think I'll ever wear my headset while running errands at home ever again. So maybe that will be the end of this. Okay, first of all, don't get too down on yourself for reacting the way you did. You just lost some patience for stupid, you know? It happens to all of us when we have to deal with it a lot. So don't worry. I'm sure if the situation was different that actually required your time and attention, you'd give it, you know, especially since you're concerned about this, you know? That just goes to show how careful you are with these sorts of things, you know? And how much thought you would normally put into these sorts of interactions, I guess. So no need to worry, you just keep on being a good big sister and keep reading, you know? Reading's good for you. This story's called, A Manager Mistakes My Teacher as an Employee. As from the title, you could probably guess this isn't my story, but rather my teacher's. So my teacher went out to go shopping with his wife. As he was shopping, he realized his shirt was very similar to what the store's uniforms were. And just as he thought that, the manager of the store walked up to him. The manager got angry at him for being late. My teacher was confused but somewhat expected this. The manager then told him to be on time next week. Rather than saying anything, my teacher just went with it. So, apparently, he now has a second job. You know what, given how low teacher salaries are, unfortunately, good for him. But, you know, that's extra work, and teaching is already a lot of work. I love teachers, okay? So, teachers, hit me up.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.